about with the use of the Carolina conversation in a manner that I felt that was derogatory. It involved a few of my brothers, and an individual took what was said about my brothers and tried to use it in a derogatory way. And I want to apologize to all three that were involved. And it may not mean anything to them, but it means a lot to me as I began to look at it. I wanted to apologize to Ademola Okalaja, Jerry Stackhouse, and Michael Jordan, because I felt like the way that this person tried to use this interview was not the way that the interview was supposed to be used, and gave an accord of some accounts that may have been embellished upon or may have not even happened. But that's not even the issue. The issue was the person trying to make it seem as if we were trying to take away from someone's greatness or a few individuals' greatness. Because when you speak and do those types of things, you take away from everybody's greatness. From Ademola's greatness, you take away from Jerry Stackhouse's greatness, and you take away from Michael Jordan's greatness. And the one thing that we don't do at the Carolina Conversation or within the Carolina family is degrade anybody. And that's never our intentions. And I felt like it was a need to be addressed because some points and some issues that were made within the other article, and it's not even worth researching, because my brother's greatness is written, all three of them, and we're a family, and we're not going to allow anybody to speak negative about anybody in our family, because that's not who we are, that's not how we are. And so I would appreciate moving forward if you please not use the Carolina Conversation platform to do anything derogatory toward anybody in our family or anybody outside of our family. That is not what this platform is for. This platform is for the uplift of everybody in the Carolina family. And when I say the Carolina family, that is the student athletes, that is the former players, that are the fans. We're all one family, and we support one another like a family. And so with that being said, once again, I would like to apologize to Ademola Okalaja, to the Jerry Stackhouse, to the Michael Jordan, and let people know that their greatness is solidified in my eyes and to everybody else's eyes. And what we say is our environment, and within our environment is only uplifting things to speak on people's greatness. And so with that being said, I appreciate you for subscribing to the Carolina Conversation, and thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carolina Conversation. I'm your host, Shammond Williams, and today we have the executioner here. He hails from Lafayette, Alabama. He's the captain of the 2020-2021 University of North Carolina basketball team, and he is the key. I always call him the key. For us to get wins, I call him the key. He must touch the basketball. He must be aggressive. And anytime he does this, which he does at a great level, Carolina basketball is in a great position. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Garrison Brooks.
I appreciate you having me.
Welcome, Garrison. Welcome. Now, how are you?
I'm doing well. I won't complain.
Good. Now, I'm looking at your background, and I noticed that you're in a hotel.
Yeah.
And so, can you explain to us why you're in a hotel and not in your dorm room or your dorm room apartment?
So basically, staff and pretty much everybody that's in the basketball office thought it'd be best for us to stay in the hotel, so we won't be as close to anyone else, and we could be pretty much like distance, because I mean, having roommates is tough. I mean, unfortunately, I stayed with Sterling, so if Sterling was to test positive, I had to quarantine. If I tested positive, Sterling had to quarantine for a week. So it's just something they want to risk like that. So they pretty much gave us our own room. We've been in the hotel for a while now, and we
Mhm.
just been here, and just a best. I think it was the best decision for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people don't take into account what it takes to have a season during this pandemic. And so, with that being said, how has this season been for you personally, and for the team of participating or trying to put yourself in a position where you can play during this pandemic?
Yeah, it's been rough on the older guys, of course. Sophomores don't really know because I mean they didn't experience their whole first year, but juniors and seniors know how like exciting it is to be on campus, going to class, seeing everyone, and especially games. I think that's the biggest thing I miss. Freshmen they don't know anything different from this. This is all they know, so they can't tell. But I think it weighs on like juniors and seniors a lot. But I think we're getting through it. I think we've matured a lot during this process. I think that we've grown as a team, but it's tough.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine. And I know how disciplined uh, we were in that college environment, especially when it came to season. And so when you guys are on the road and there's a shoot around and things like that, and you're leaving the hotel and having to go to the site and shoot around and those types of things, how is that different from your past seasons when there was not a pandemic?
So past season, like we'll go travel, shoot around. Everybody can be on one bus. We travel two different buses. Um, so most of the time, I think my junior year, we shoot around for about 45 minutes. Cool. Everybody else will leave, and then a couple of the guys will stay, like me, Walker Miller, Cole Anthony will stay. B-Rob will stay just to get some extra work in. Like, unfortunately, we're not given that time. Um, we're not giving as much time because they have to clean, they have to do a bunch of stuff to the arena and make sure it's prepared and clean for us to come and play later on that day.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a lot. And and so as you see, there's a lot that goes on with the production of a basketball game. Like there's more to it than just the game itself. And so within that production, um, how how many tests are you guys taking a week just to put yourself in a position to
Uh,
play a game?
if, say, for instance, this week where our game got canceled and we're supposed to only play Saturday, so I think we'll test probably 3 times this week. Um, just something that you have to do like normally. I mean, it's something I've gotten used to, but you have to test 2 to 3 times a week if you have just one game. But if you play like 2 to 3 games a week, it's more. It can get up to five or more.
Yeah. Well, before we go any further into this interview, I most definitely want to commend you and just the things that you're doing, the sacrifices you're making, you and your teammates and the other collegiate student athletes, in doing these things so there could be games for fans to watch and for you to participate in. And there's a lot of things placed upon you guys' shoulders to make sure that these things happen. And I most definitely want to commend you and the staff and the University of North Carolina for doing those things to first and foremost to make sure that you're safe. That's the first and foremost thing. But second of all, just to make sure that you can continue experiencing your collegiate career and bringing something exciting to the fans. And so, thank you. I appreciate that. But moving forward, let's go back. Let's go back 4 years ago. What made Garrison Brooks come to the University of North Carolina?
Pretty much just the opportunity to play at the highest level. I think it doesn't get any closer to NBA because, I mean, you're going to play pros every day. Either that's in pickup during the summer here or that's in conference play every game. So you're gonna see a pro. I think this is one of the highest levels that you can play basketball at UNC and the ACC.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I had followed you since you had started playing for the Alabama Challenge. Especially, I followed the Challenge because Devin Booker was kind of like my nephew, and he played for the Challenge. And Mitchell Robinson, my godson, had played for the Challenge. And so I had followed you playing for the Challenge, and you know, I have a good relationship with your father. So it was kind of interesting because there were a lot of things that were being said, and where you were from. You know, it was a big fight in Alabama about you maybe going to the University of Alabama or maybe going to Auburn. Or most people were like, you ain't gonna be able to recruit him because he was gonna go to Mississippi State for sure. And
Yeah.
so, I found it kind of interesting once I heard that you were leaning toward the University of North Carolina, me being a former graduate and student athlete there as well. And so, tell me about that environment, because I mean, you were the best big in the state of Alabama, and then you had your ties, of course, to Mississippi State, yeah. and how you were playing on the EYBL. I mean, there were many others that were pretty much interested in you, but a lot of people thought that, hey, you know what? Just this small knit environment he's in, this is a done deal, one way or the three. So tell me how it was for you.
So pretty much, I think I surprised a lot of people going. I mean, of course, I signed Mississippi State first. I mean, I think that was a given. I mean, I pretty much proved everybody right. I really surprised a lot of people when I decommitted and got my release and signed with UNC, because I mean, I think everybody expected me to go to Mississippi State, and I think that, I mean, it wasn't shocking to anyone. Anyone that knew college basketball knows my dad, great recruiter, yes. Great guy. Mm-hmm. And then shocked everybody. So, I mean, it's just what it was. I mean, it just took a different path during the spring. Got here to North Carolina, which is great. Not a lot of people expecting me to come. Not a lot of people expect me to come here, because when I got my release, they expected me. They didn't know where I go, because they figured I was confused, and I think immediately I had to go to North Carolina if I was given. Yeah.
They thought that you were confused.
Yeah, once I left Mississippi State, like, what is he doing? Like, I mean, you figured out where you was going. You're going with your dad, and once everybody, they was like, what is he doing? He has to be going to North Carolina. So I mean, I had no choice.
Yeah, and and I know a lot about you because I was close to one of your closest friends at the time, the point guard yeah. So. I always followed you guys, and in my mind, when I was recruiting, I thought, hey, you know what? If I could get Mr. Johnson, I most definitely got a chance at Mr. Brooks, especially if he's not going to go to Mississippi State. And so it was big news in the world of recruiting, not just because your father was at Mississippi State and most people thought that that's where you were going to go, but because of your talent and what people thought that you could possibly become. And so I was extremely excited to hear that you were going to the University of North Carolina, especially watching you and getting a chance to know you from afar. And so how was it when you got to the University of North Carolina as a freshman?
Pretty much just very shocking. Had to come adapt to everything. It's like learning everything again. You have to learn what you're going to do every day, how you're going to do it. Very tight skills I had to learn, but that's no problem. I mean, I'm a disciplined child. I can adjust to that. So just something I had to adjust to, just not being the best player on the floor. Learning a different role, which is fine. I mean, I that was fine with me. You have to learn that at one point in time in your life.
Right.
Having to do that again, which is great. I mean, my freshman year, one of the greatest learning experiences I had. So it was a good thing. I needed that to really understand you're not going to be the best player. You can still find your way on the court doing something for your team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that mindset and understanding really takes you a long way in life. A lot of people, some people are blessed to have things predicated to them all times. And I think they find adversity when it's not predicated toward them. So it's interesting to hear you say that, because you did have a great EYBL season and then a great high school season, and then you were on a high, and going into that environment, another environment with elite level players, guys that are older than you, and so on and so forth. You have to research and, like you said before, find your way.
Yeah.
Find your way. What was the most important thing that you thought that you learned as a freshman?
Most important thing I thought is, every day is not gonna be. Or my uncle always says me this: every day is not gonna be your birthday.
Right.
Every day is not gonna be your best. It's not gonna be your favorite day. Everything, you can have a bad day, but you still gotta mix the good with the bad. Like, still learning every day, still can come in and work harder. You still given the opportunity. So you just gotta really mix the good with the bad. That's pretty much what I took from every day there.
Right.
And part was that he tells me this all the time, like, every day is not my birthday.
Right.
I understood it at the time, but my freshman, I really had to understand and really learn what he was saying.
Right. Now, how was your adaptation of the academic environment, going to class, maybe having a class of 300 people in your class and things like that? How was that for you?
It was something I could never imagine. 300 people in one class. You could do something. The professor never know who you are.
Right.
You could turn, and it could be really good. She might not ever see you.
Right.
He or she might not. It was different. Seeing that many people on a day-to-day basis, very different for me. It's something I had to adjust to. It was a really fun thing to adjust to. I think my academic schedule was something I really needed. Jen Townsend really helps me out a lot, still to this day. So she's kept me in line since day one. Something I've needed, but she kept me in line. She's helped me so far.
Right. Well, having that freshman year up under your belt, it was time to matriculate, and you become a sophomore, and a little bit more responsibility is going to be placed upon your shoulders, as opposed to what it was as a freshman. And so, what was your thoughts about going into your sophomore year, and what were your thoughts about your sophomore year?
Yeah. So basically, as a freshman, you only get to make those mistakes once. That's the biggest thing I learned. I told myself, those mistakes you made as a freshman, you cannot make now. Those are once in opportunities. You can ask questions, get away with it, because you're a freshman, it's your first time going through it. But like your second time going through it, like, everybody gonna look at you kind of sideways, like, why didn't you learn this? Like, why didn't you pick it up? I believe that going into my sophomore year, I expected a bigger role. Knew that the same way that I was gonna find my way in the court was defense, and being a team guy, being a role player essentially, and I was fine with that. Looking at our team played out that year, I think it was really good for us. I think I helped our dynamic by focusing on defense and scoring when I got the chance. But I think I found my way on the court by just doing what I needed to do and not making the same mistakes from last year.
Right. Now, like I said before, I know you as a person and what you stand for, and the selflessness, and I think that's a big key for you in that program. Listening to you, the selflessness of sacrificing yourself for the good of the team, and you really show people those types of characteristics in everything that you do and what you stand for. And so, how is it that you have that selfless characteristic as a young man? Because when you're young, a lot of times you want to show people what you can do. So, how do you have that? Where did that characteristic come from?
Being truthful, I've always been very selfless. Yes, I know what I need to do, and I want to be in this spotlight doing what I'm very capable of doing. But I don't want that. I never needed that much attention myself. I never wanted a bunch of attention. I think I learned that from my brother somewhat, because I got a little brother. We're close to the same age, And it's kind of like we're opposites. I mean, he wouldn't mind all the attention, and I'll be like, well, I don't need all that. Well, I mean, that's fine. That's just something that you learn at a young age. You learn to share. I mean, that's something. It's sounds funny, but it's like you learn to share everything with your brother, and you learn stuff like that you sometimes wouldn't have. Like if Justin wanted something, and I couldn't if I wanted something and Justin couldn't have it, like I wouldn't take it because he couldn't have it. That's just something we grew up with, and how we pretty much adapted to everything. If he can't have it, neither can I. So either that, or we gonna share it together.
Right. That's that's a good characteristic to have, especially when you start talking about being a part of something bigger than yourself, and that's something that that we talk about a lot. We talk about a lot, but it's a great characteristic to have, and understanding why you're that way for others gives people a sense of the personality that Garrison has. And so moving beyond that sophomore year, here it is, you're going into your junior year.
Yeah.
And you have, star-studded recruit coming in to be your point guard, replacing another star that left. And so how was that environment going into your junior year?
It was fun. It was fun at the beginning. Two very different personalities between those two.
Right.
Very loud guy. You know when he's in the room, there's nothing wrong with that. That's who he is.
Yes.
That's pretty much what he brought to the team. Competitor. I must say that about him. He come in, he compete every day. He wants to win everything. He's gonna show you he's the best at everything. And if he doesn't, he's gonna work until he is. I think that's just something who he is. I think that really helped me because I really wanted to improve, show I'm the best too. Because I was going to grow that year, and I was going to be depended on because I was a junior and I was getting to that age where like I can be dependent on in games during situations. I want me to look to the sideline and get it about every little question I have. So it was to the point where I was old enough to understand like what needed to be done.
Right. There's a lot of leadership placed upon your shoulders, even though Cole was the point guard, and then being able to lead, but also being able to teach, because you had Armando that was going to be asked to play heavy minutes as well as a freshman. And so, how was the interaction with him, being able to help him understand some of the things that he was going to go through that you had gone through, because you guys are in the interior?
Yeah. So I just tried to teach him everything I knew. We're very different players. Still try to teach him little tricks and what to do and what not to do. I think that personally, like he's his own person. He's gonna do what he he's capable of doing and really thrive with that. And he's doing a great job with it right now.
Right.
But it's just something that I try to teach him that, but he's done his own thing. He's a great player in himself, so he's doing well himself. But Armando is a fast learner. That he's doing a lot better his sophomore year, and it's much improved from what he did last year.
Right. Yeah, I thought your junior year you had an opportunity to show people what was in store and what you were capable of. And, the greatest thing about the North Carolina environment is that at times it allows you to show what you're capable of doing as an individual. But the environment of the team is the most important environment for our institution. There was a joke I always said, the only person to hold Michael Jordan under 20 points was Coach Smith. And so a lot of people look at it. A lot of people may look at the North Carolina environment as, you may not be able to show everything that you're capable of doing. But what I'd like to say about that environment is that it shows that you're capable of playing a role. It shows that you have an opportunity to play at the next level, that you can take on your role and do a great job with it, as opposed to it having to be predicated around you. And I think that's where a lot of value comes in for players that play at the University of North Carolina. We learn how to play with other great players and put ourselves in a position that we can be great teammates. But also if we're not, also if we're asked to be that guy to do certain things, we're capable of doing that as well. And, I thought your junior year, because of the environment, it dictated that you do more for that basketball team, in which I felt like you did a great job in that.
Right. Yeah, it takes something different to play here. I must say that, because you have to adjust the roles playing with great players. It's just that speaks out to our program, because we recruit the best players in America every year.
Right. And so here it is. We're here at your senior year. Yep. All right. Going into your senior year, and you are, the majority of people in the ACC have high regard for you because they saw the impact that you had as a junior. And, this pandemic comes and it stifles the season and how you practice and things like that. So before the season started, how irregular were things for?
It's very different. Not being able to play pickup this summer until the end, I think that really messed with us at the beginning, because that's pickup is where you really build like chemistry, especially for us to play every day. Also, just not having like a whole dynamic of us competing against pros every day to get us better. Just, I don't know, it was very different, not having practice and not being able to condition like we normally do. I think it's just something we took into account, and we just had to really keep going, because we figured that it was happening at every other school. So we had to just keep building with that. It was fine, but just something we had to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And something to be said to go outside of your norm. Go outside of your expectation. Not only does it bother you physically, it can bother you mentally as well, because you're expecting to be able to use those things to help you get to where you're trying to get to. It's a plan that you have for yourself, and there are steps that you're used to taking that you can't take at this point in time. And so one question that I like to ask, personal question, did you guys get to run your mile run this year?
Right there with you.
Hey, most people, you see, like most people in my environment, they'd be like, hey, they got away with it. They ain't have to run their mile run. See, I like evolution. I'm not upset with you guys that you didn't have to run the mile. I'm not, most people be, oh man, we had, no. Congratulations to you. Fortunately, you didn't get to run it, but I most definitely understand why you didn't, and the sacrifices that you're making right now most definitely makes up for not having to run the mile run, because the things that you guys are going through, like you were able to explain to myself and the audience, the things that you guys are embarking on daily is much more excruciating than the mile run, for sure. So, well, good. I had to ask that, because if I was going to say, you ran the mile run and in these environments, man, that says a lot. But, we appreciate what you're doing just to get on the floor each and every night. And so tell me, how do you feel about this season? You had a great, you have some great players come in this year. They're all different in their own different ways. But, the difference in this year for you, as opposed to all other years, is that you're the senior. You're the person that they're looking at. You're the person that has to give that information. That's why I call you the executioner, because everything, for there to be execution, it has to go through Mr. Brooks. So tell me this environment for you, beyond the pandemic in itself, and then being the leader and the captain, and having all of these great players that you have to teach each and every night. Yeah. Explain that.
It's something new. Very, very different. Because I think we brought in, I want to say 6 new freshmen.
Right.
So it's tough. Just something we have to adjust to every day. I think it's something that, of course, I can really explain how Virginia plays defense, but
Right.
reality, like, they don't really understand it until they get out there and go against it.
Right.
It's been a learning process. I think we've shown really good moments. Really good moments. We can be really good, but I mean, I think it's just something that you have to think about. Like we play 3 freshmen that started minutes. Well, almost 4 freshmen that started minutes. That's something you got to take into account too. I mean, you got to think about who they're going up against. They're going up against juniors and seniors, grown men that know what they're doing.
Right.
You know, I mean, of course you know. Because, I mean, once you got older, like, you can control the game. You control the pace of the game. You pretty much dictate everything once you get old.
Right.
Because you know it. You've done it so – I'm telling you, you've done it so long. Like, those guys that have been playing college basketball for 3 or 4 years, like, they know what they're doing. Like, once they get to their spots, it don't matter what you do. They're going to elevate, shoot that ball, it's going to go in every time because they've seen it a million times. But I think we're getting better to the point where we can be really good still. We still have an opportunity to be really good. I think we're getting better at the right time. So right. I think other than this past Saturday, I think that we're still going to get better as a team. We're going to come in and work hard every day because, I mean, I don't think these guys – I know these guys aren't complacent. I think I think that they're going to come in and work hard every day.
Right, right. Well, with you being the leader, they're going to always follow your lead. I mean, you know, like I said, this conversation that you and I always had. Like,
always.
You know, like Garrison, you know, they gonna follow you, you know, because you've earned it. It's not like you just a senior and you say, okay, I'm a senior. Y'all listen to what I do or follow what I do. It's knowing that you've earned the right to be in that position, and they understand that, because even if you watch within the game when things get tight, if you watch the ball, a lot of times finds your hands in that regard. And so that's a way within the game of saying who those people respect at certain times. Not just to only score the basketball, but to make the decisions and get the ball in the right places. And I do find you, myself personally, within the game, you know, sometimes I'm watching and I see you posting for position, and the ball may not get to you, then I see you release and then go out and get the basketball and kind of like set everything and get everybody calmed and back in their positions and things like that. And I think that goes back to the selflessness in you, as you know, like instead of just sitting there and saying, give it to me, you see that things may be in disarray. And so you leave that position to go out to put yourself in a position to, hey, let me calm everything, get everything moving, or get this ball reversed to the weak side, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, I commend you because, like I said, we have conversations on, you know, just, hey, you know what, have those conversations with those guys and lead them within the game, because it's difficult, because usually the person that's going to do the most talking, especially like you said last year, that was going to be Cole Anthony. So it didn't have, you know, it wasn't predicated on you to have dialogue all the time. So because you had that person, well, you know, like I try, you're Cole Anthony with this group. Think about it now. Think about everybody's personality. You're the Cole Anthony, and right. So, you know, it's okay. It's okay to have that dialogue with them within the game, and defensively have that dialogue with them. Because believe it or not, when you're in an environment that's totally new to you, you know, the one thing that you will appreciate is somebody that's been there giving you words of wisdom, because it helps soothe, it helps you focus a little bit more.
Like you're not the only person going through this, so it helps. Hear you say a bunch of things. Helps you really understand, like, because I mean, of course, I see something on the court, right, and I try to help adjust to it. But like the thing is, like, you got a whole different point of view. Like, you've seen a lot of basketball, then played a lot of basketball. So hearing your point of view for it, and just that, I mean, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the thing about it is I care about you, and that's not going to change for the rest of our life, and so my thing is to always make sure that I can give you the things that I feel like could be helpful to you and the institution and the program, and to let you know, like say, hey man, I've been there before. Don't get down on yourself. I mean, we're still with you, and I want greatness for you. So, you know what I mean. Like I said, when I stop pushing you, it's going to be either when you retire, or I passed away. So, I mean, that's just how it's going to be in the world of basketball. And so, man, I'm extremely grateful that you chose the University of North Carolina. The institution is really a better institution because we have someone like you there. And so, I wanted to shoot some things at you quickly to see what your response would be. So we're going to talk about your teammates. I want you to give me some adjectives once I name them. I want you to give me, what comes to your mind, what comes to your line. Sterling.
Active.
Active, okay. Caleb.
Kind of silly. I get that to him.
RJ.
What's a good one? What's the adjective to describe somebody from New York? That's what I'm trying to think about.
It depends on what part of New York he's from.
Low key. I say he could just flow on the radar. I give him that one.
Okay. Kessler.
Southern. That's the only way to describe him. A Southern guy.
Real Southern?
Real Southern, yeah.
Okay. Playtech.
Rude. He's a New York guy. He's a true New York guy, so I'm going to
rude. He said, rude. Rude. Okay. My man Walker.
Grown. That's one way to describe him. He grown. You can tell he's far. He's way older than the rest of us.
He said he's way grown up.
Way older.
Johnson.
Oh, Puff.
Yeah.
He's a baby. That's pretty much the only way I can. Like, now you see a bunch, like, how you see yourself in like one person. That's exactly how I see him. Like, he's just a baby. He's still learning, man. It's funny.
He said, baby. All right. Kerwin.
Mute. That's the only way to describe Kerwin, man.
Hey.
The funny part is, I think Kerwin's first couple months, like Kerwin would only say like, "Hey, like that's it, keep it pushing." Like now I can now me and Kerwin can sit there and have a conversation with each other about stuff. I think it's something that it shows how much like more comfortable he is with our team, how much more comfortable he is with me, and like it's funny that I said mute because like everybody is you probably never seen Kerwin say a word on TV.
Man. Now, here's a story, because my family and I, we came up right before in September, and we walked in and we were going to the practice gym because they wouldn't let us in the same gym, so we couldn't work out in the same gym. And so as I was walking in, Hoots introduced me to Lebo, McAdoo. Well, I already knew McAdoo, of course.
Yeah.
But Lebo and Curl. So everybody's like, McAdoo, I knew. I said, "What's going on, Mac?" He's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And then Lebo said, "Oh, you Jeff's son." He said, "Yeah, okay." And like Curl was like, I said, Okay. Hey, okay. All right.
So I'm telling you, he won't say nothing.
Hey, that's most definitely not the person you want to be in there if it's a fire in the room. All right. What about McAdoo?
He do quiet. He real quiet. That's he that growing out of his shell. You know what? Let me
Okay.
a butterfly because I mean he's grown a lot. I must say that.
Okay. A butterfly. I like that. I like that. KJ.
If I could describe KJ as one thing, you know how you have your favorite cousin on like your mama's side, like that's pretty much how I look at KJ, man.
Yeah, KJ is something else. He is something else. And let me see if I missed anybody. Hey, Ron.
They run country, so they were like Walker Southern, but they run country like the way he kind of act.
Right. Disciple. Now, explain to people the difference between Southern and country.
So like country is me. How like, because I mean how you say your word, how you drag sentences.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just kind of like having like a certain kind of hospitality and kind of respect about yourself.
Right.
So Southern and country pretty much they're similar, but they're a little different. So Southern and country people, when you walk in the room, you're gonna speak to everybody.
Right.
That's number one. Southern people, when I say, hey, how you doing? Country people, like, hey, what's going on? Like, they might come hug you or something. Like
right.
It's kind of like,
right.
But it's a little different.
Yeah. And last but not least, Garrison Brooks.
I describe myself as one thing. Growth. I mean, I think I've grown every day, adjusting to the situation different, still just growing every day in a role and trying to get better in there every day. I think that's something that I look in the mirror and say, I'm still trying to get better every day doing what I do. Mm-hmm. I pretty much growth. That's how I would describe myself.
Well, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. But before I leave you, I got somebody that want to say hello.
Miss Sam.
Hey, Garrison.
What's up, man?
Nothing.
Yeah, I told him I had you on podcast today. He was like, "Oh, I want to say hey to him. So,
don't worry, man. I'm gonna come see y'all after the season, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, my son is a connoisseur of basketball. He is. He loves him some ball. He studies the game. He knows things about the game. I don't even know how he finds them out, but he knows. And so this may have been Garrison's sophomore year, maybe, in Chapel Hill. It may have been your freshman year, but I know it's your freshman or sophomore year.
Which it might have been. Might have been between the two. It might have been between the two.
Yeah.
The one came and played pickup one day.
Yeah. No, I'm talking. Okay, this was your freshman year then, because you were playing significant minutes your freshman year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so this was your freshman year because when we came back and played pickup, you were going into your sophomore year, so y'all were cool. Freshman year, we would go to a game, and Shammond sees Garrison. He's like, "Oh, Dad, I like him. Yeah, look at him. Like it. He liked your personality and stuff like that. I get it because y'all getting ready to go out, so he's watching." So y'all went out, and then we basically sat down, and so we were watching the game. And I noticed during the game he kept saying, "Garrison," you get it, Garrison. And he kept saying it. And so I don't know if you remember, you won the game, and we were eating in the room.
Room downstairs.
Yeah. And so we would sit down, and Shammond was sitting beside me, and he was eating, but he kept looking around. Then you came in, and you sat with us, and you sat down with us.
Right.
And sit down. Shammond was eating. He was looking. He said, "Now, Garrison, now you gotta grab more rebounds than that. Now you gotta get in there, hit him, and grab some more rebounds and whatever." And so I'm eating and I'm listening to him say that, and I said, "Uh-oh." I said,
I remember because you were saying that. He kind of said, I kind of stopped. I looked out.
Yeah, man. And then you said, okay, all right, I understand what you're saying. And so, we finished eating or whatever. And then, you got up and you were still standing out there. And I said, I pulled Shammond aside. I said, Shammond, I said, listen, I said, you can't. I said, you can, but you can't. You can't say it like that. You gotta find a different way to communicate that if that's what you feel without. I said, man, you might hurt his feelings. And so when I said that, man, you started. You remember? You started crying, and I said, now you got to go over to the Garrison and you got to apologize to him for what you said. And he came over to you, and he was like, Garrison, I apologize or whatever. You was like, no, man, you all right, I'm gonna take that, man. And so I really appreciate that role that you played in that, because where he is now as a person and how to handle environments. Yeah, he's only 8, but he understands how to handle older people, and he's able to articulate what he's trying to get across.
Right.
And has an understanding of how can I articulate this without hurting their feelings if I can possibly do that. And how you handled that really benefited him, but it also made you, one of his great, one of the players that he really loves. He loves some Garrison Brooks, and he loves him some Sterling Manley. And for you guys to be roommates, I hope he grows to be tall like you guys.
Hey, man, it was funny. I ain't gonna lie, it was funny. I mean, like, to be honest, little kids don't never lie to you. They feel it's coming out. If the truth gonna come out, like, and the funny part is, like, he didn't say nothing wrong. He never nothing wrong. It was funny. It was funny when he said, I looked, I said, all right, you right. You know what? You right. If a little kid tell you something like that means you probably need to be doing it.
Right.
Man, that little somebody told me that. Man, I said, you right. But then he came out that crowd. I said, I was like, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Gave me to death. But, hey, when he get older, I'm going to tell him that same story. I said, man, you was right.
Yeah. Don't tell him that. Tell him what he need to be doing better. How about that? Well, Garrison, man, I want to say thank you for participating, man, in the Carolina conversation. A lot of our Carolina family that subscribes to this podcast, man, I know that they love you and appreciate everything that you're doing and your colleagues are doing to make this season happen. And we do know that you guys are going to continue pushing and be in a great position come here for this NCAA tournament. And we just want to say thank you for participating for sure, man. And and you and I, we're going to have our conversations twice a week. Twice a week to get you ready, to go out there and do your thing. But man, I really appreciate having you, and I really appreciate what you've become and what you're going to become in the future. So we want to say thank you here at the Field of 68 Media Network for participating.
I appreciate you having me, and of course, I'll talk to you. I'll probably talk to you later today. Don't worry about it.
No doubt, man. All right, man. Love you. Take care. Have a good workout today, and we'll be in touch.